Hey, what's up, guys? Kool-Aid here, and today I want to talk about Game Update 6 a little bit, go over some of my thoughts. I'll be honest, I haven't got to play a whole lot since Game Update 6 has come out, but I did get a chance last night to test a few of the bigger things that I was concerned about. And I will say I give Sony props for pushing out these updates as fast as they are. Now, sometimes they do break things. I know last update we had the major frame rate issues. As far as I know, there weren't anything too game breaking with this update, so that is good. Hopefully, they don't have those frame rate issues anymore when they put out these updates. That's just killer, and really is kind of counterproductive, but they always fix it, and overall the game is progressing to be better. So with this update, there were a lot of changes to shotguns. All this footage you're going to see today on this video is pre-nerf shotgun footage. I feel like this is the last chance I have to use this footage. I have all this shotgun stuff saved up, and I'm not going to be able to use it in future videos to prove any sort of point because the weapons are going to be completely different. So this is all old shotgun footage. I guess we can kind of use this as a send-off to what shotguns once were. But yes, they did nerf shotguns quite a bit, I would say. They lowered all the damage on each of the pellets from 143 down to 134. That's significant. That basically means in its maximum damage range, each shotgun is going to take one more pellet to kill. They also lowered the minimum damage per pellet, slowed down the rate of fire on all the shotguns, slowed down the short reload time. Now they did add, or they did increase, or decrease, I should say, the long reload time for the semi-autos. Didn't touch it for the full autos. And then they lowered the recoil for the semi-autos as well, but did increase the recovery time for the full auto. But the nerfs obviously offset any actual improvements they made to the guns. I did play with them a little bit last night. They still seem usable. And although I have been using shotguns a lot lately, and I don't necessarily think they needed to be nerfed, it doesn't bother me either. If this makes less people use shotguns and use more of a variety, then I think I kind of view that as a good thing, honestly. It had been turning into somewhat of a shotgun fest. Anything in close quarters lately, people had been just spamming shotguns, and myself included. I'll totally admit to the fact that I have been just rocking shotguns anytime I think there's going to be a close quarters fight. I think this will just give more of a variety in weapons. I think shotguns are still going to be good enough to use, still going to win in most close quarter situations. But if this just adds a little bit of variety, I do think that this is a good thing for the game overall. So while we're on the topic of shotguns, I want to talk about the NC Max changes. Obviously, all the shotguns for the NC Maxes did get nerfed, and I am one of the few NC players that will probably agree that NC Maxes were a little ridiculous. Now, at the same time, I think shotguns are a very touchy thing when it comes to balancing. They are so completely dominant at one aspect of the game while completely and utterly useless at another aspect of the game. And I think that just makes shotguns as a whole, not even just for, the maxes, but the other shotguns, such a hard thing to balance. And every FPS seems to have balancing issues when it comes to shotguns. You have people that absolutely hate them because they are so dominant in that one aspect, and you have people that think they are balanced because they are so completely useless in the other aspect, and they think that balances itself out. And the problem with that is that it's just easier to close the gap on your enemy than to actually stay at range. This game is huge, but you take facilities and you have just so many different paths and cover to actually close the gap, especially in something like a biolab. A scatter max can just easily close in on another max, and that's what I've always recommended, really using close quarters type weapons. That's pretty much the reason why. That's my reasoning behind it. And shotguns are obviously the ultimate close quarters weapon. Once you get in that range with somebody using a shotgun, there's really nothing you can do unless they miss you. So I don't want to get into too much, with a shotgun overpowered or not debate. But I think the whole nerf thing, like I said, I haven't used the maxes that much yet, but I do think something, slight tweaks needed to be made, and I will do a future video just on these maxes and give a little more input. So I do want to move on to some other things. The other big thing with this patch, the non-nerf thing, is the alerts, and these are really cool. The main thing behind these is that they're going to force action to zones that aren't necessarily going to have much action. I did one of these last night. It was 11 o'clock at night or something. Typically when things are winding down and you might have a little bit harder time actually finding fights. But there was an alert on Esamir, and Esamir pretty much just filled up, and it was amazing. There was fights everywhere all over Esamir, and people go there for that extra experience. It is, I think, 20% experience bonus if you're fighting in an alert zone or whatever, and it's just awesome. I think it's one of the best things that they've actually added to the game. Now, I don't know if there's any negative things that are going to come out of this. Some problems might arise in the future, such as giant queue times to get into the alert zones or something like that, but for the most part, I think this is a really good idea, and I'm glad they implemented it into the game with this game update. The other big thing that came with this update that I was kind of worried about was the anti-tank mine nerf. Now, in the notes, all it really says is tank mines will no longer arm if thrown on top of a vehicle. As far as I know, they won't arm if thrown underneath of a stationary vehicle either. I don't know why they worded it like that. They're just kind of leaving out some details there. But it's really not a big deal. The only thing I was worried about was whether or not they could be armed by me throwing a grenade or shooting them. They still can be. So, 9 out of 10 times you're still going to be able to use them how you used them before. Just a little bit. You could add another step into the process. I'll still be killing mini sunders with these. They've also added service ribbons, just extra cert gains, basically what those are. As far as I know, there's no real way to track them in the game, or at least I couldn't find them. They're not going to be huge bonuses, but any free certs they're going to give me, I'm willing to take. There are more character slots added, 3 if you are a member. If you are not a member, you're going to have to buy these. I don't know why people would need more than 3 characters that you already have, but they are there if you want to buy those. There are additional daily sales for members. The NS15M is now available. That's the common pool. LMG feels a lot like the other 2 NSs. I will be doing a full review on this weapon, hopefully fairly soon, within a couple days, and I'll let you guys know exactly what I think about it then. I do want to mention that they did fix the short and long reload times on the NS11C. If you watched my review on that, you'll notice that I made fun of it a little bit for having the same reload times, which made absolutely no logical sense whatsoever. So they did actually change that. Now the short reload time is actually faster at 1.85 seconds. The long reload time is actually longer at 2.35 seconds, and that just makes a little more sense. They did actually change it so the ammunition belt will work with that weapon as well, and the grip will actually be aligned with the rail now. That it had some funny graphical glitch. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. There are some other things as well that I didn't go over. They did update and change the turrets on all the facilities. And to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't notice because I am very rarely ever in a turret. But they did make a lot of tweaks to that. I will leave the full update notes in the link. You guys probably looked at them already. But they are going to be there if you guys want to take another closer look at them. And the last thing I want to mention is that they did have some client stability improvements, which I guess is always good. Can't really fault or can't really say too much bad about that. But that is all I have. Let me know what you guys think about the update. Let me know what you guys think about the shotguns. I know a lot of people are going to be upset, but honestly, I think it's going to cause people to use more of a variety of weapons. So anyways, guys, that is all I have. If you enjoyed this, please hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe if you have not already. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. I will talk to y'all later.